Senator Rounds.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. General Semonite, first of all, thank you for your service. We appreciate your being here today. We appreciate what you do on a regular basis. And I just wanted to talk a little bit about, I'm from South Dakota, and we've got the Missouri River, which comes right down to the middle of our state. We've got the main stem dams, which provide a huge amount of benefit and most certainly has been a good thing for our state, along with all of the states surrounding us. I'm becoming increasingly concerned about the potential for Missouri River flooding as a result this year of the snowpack levels and the decrease in available storage capacity in the Missouri River reservoirs. Through regular communication with the Corps and the South Dakota Department of Environment and Natural Resources, it has come to our attention that mountain snowpack levels are about 133% of average between the Fort Peck and the Garrison basins. What is the Army Corps' plan to manage water levels in the Missouri to prevent flooding along the upper Missouri this year? And I know that right now NOAA is predicting above average precipitation in the coming weeks. Does the Corps have concerns about the increased risk of flooding that could be caused by above average rainfall? And what is the Corps doing to address these concerns? This is one of the major issues that occurred in 2011. And naturally, we've got a lot of folks out there that are watching the fact that we're just at the flood level, just at the base of the exclusive flood control today. Where is the Corps at right now, and what do you anticipate in terms of your ability to manage what may very well be some significant inflows?
Senator, great question. And yes, the Corps is very concerned about snowpack across all of the United States. We're watching California very, very closely right now. And through any of these systems, several years ago we had, scenarios where if you get too much snow, then obviously you can't be able to bring down the flood pool enough to be able to absorb that. So we watch it the best we can. This was authorized in Word of 14. The challenge, I think, is the ability to be able to do the monitoring and the modeling to do that. Right now, we don't necessarily have appropriated funds to go to the next level to be able to model that to a higher extreme. So we're doing the best we can with taking the tools that are available. I think the question is, are we able to project what that would equate to when it comes back to what's going to happen to those pools? So that's not a good answer, but the bottom line is we are always concerned about snowpack. I'm not sure that we have the fidelity right now and the science to be able to understand as much as we'd like to know on how that's going to project.
We had major floods in 2011. The Corps actually did an in-house review and actually asked for outside folks to come in and help them. They recommended that you have additional monitoring equipment put into the Plains area. That was in 2014. You've had 2015, 2016, 2017, now coming up on 2018. This last summer we had field hearings in which representatives from the Corps told us exactly what you did just now, and that was you didn't have the appropriation. I don't think, in looking back at it in our review, that it's ever even been requested. What I'd like to know, number one, is are you planning on putting in a request for it? And second of all, if you did, and since you're not going to have it this year, do you have plans to at least attempt to modify by releasing some early flows so that we don't have the possibility of the kind of floods that we had in 2011?
Sir, I've got to get back with you on that to be able to make sure I understand exactly the details of what we're prepared to do. I know there are some funding challenges. That is not obviously acceptable, but the bottom line is I think we're doing everything we can with the funds available to be able to project what's going to happen. We are concerned, and as we look at what those projections could be, we clearly have the authority under the water control manuals to be able to start bringing that water down just based on the analysis we have right now. So I owe you a better answer, sir, on what we can do to be able to fix that.
There's a real interest in the part of the upper basin after 2011. A lot of people out there that are concerned right now because they can see the water levels as well and they can read the reports. Do you have any plans for communication with local communities along the way in terms of the review that you're doing? Last year, in 2011, it seemed to me that one of the biggest concerns was in March, matter of fact, March 3rd of 2011, in a report in the Omaha Herald, one of the officials indicated that we're going to be just fine this year unless it rains. It's not a way to run a major main stem system, and I'm hoping that that's not going to be the comment this year, that we're relying on lower or less than normal rainfall downstream, and if that's the case, we've got real problems.
Yes, sir, and to address your issue on the collaboration, we're talking every single day back and forth with our hydraulic experts, back into the state, to the local communities. We want to be very transparent and collaborative on how we can do that to make sure that we're learning from you and you're learning from us. But right now, our goal is to try to continue to be able to bring those capabilities down to be able to absorb whatever we think we would project for that snowpack that's coming.
Would you continue to provide input or at least to provide information on at least a biweekly basis to the local communities about where you're at in the flood control and any plans you've got for some perhaps more stable early releases to relieve some of the flow along the Missouri later on?
Sir, I certainly see no reason why we can't do that. I would think we'd be doing it now. Most of our stuff is a lot of times posted on a web, so it can be 24/7. Everybody can see what we're doing. We're seeing the same thing from the state. If there is any reason why we aren't being as collaborative, as transparent as we should be, I'll fix that.
I think more than anything else, what we really want to know is whether or not you're prepared, since flood control is the #1 priority along there, that if we're up into the exclusive flood storage position already, which I believe we've just entered into in the first week in March, that you're prepared to begin to take actions to release perhaps some additional flows to mitigate what might be some significant flows in a shorter period of time later on.
And Senator, I certainly want to try to make that happen. Every one of these facilities has specific authorizations and different rule curves on how they'll work. I want to make sure that we're operating inside the authorities and the parameters that we have established in the law and those rule curves to be able to make sure we're doing it. So yes, I think we want to meet that intent. I want to make sure, though, that we're doing it in the authority of our current water control manuals.
And I know my time has expired, but what I'm getting at, General, and with all due respect, sir, flood control is the #1 priority, and that would be above navigation needs or above other types of needs. Flood control is #1. Am I correctly stating that?
Sir, life safety, without a doubt, is #1.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. And once again, thank you for your service. I know you got a tough job to do there. Thank you.